good day, good people. Today we're going to review an incredible book I just read called The War on Warriors Behind the Betrayal of the Men Who Keep Us Free by Pete Hegseth. Now, Pete is being nominated to lead the Pentagon and transform it. So what I want to do is before we start, I want to be transparent about this. This is not political. As you can see, I'm a U.S. Navy retiree. I wear this shirt proudly. I did 20 years, 10 days. And I believe Pete has the mindset to be able to reform what is going on with the rot within our military. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen, and I want to share the screen. There's a review that was done by another person, and I want to share that first before I go into my review. So let's go to it.
Today we will be reviewing The War on Warriors, Behind the Betrayal of the Men Who Keep Us Free by Pete Hegseth. The War on Warriors, Behind the Betrayal of the Men Who Keep Us Free by Pete Hegseth is a powerful and provocative exploration of the challenges faced by America's military personnel. Hegseth, a combat veteran and television host, delves into the systemic issues and cultural shifts that he argues have led to the neglect and mistreatment of those who serve in the armed forces. Hegseth's writing is direct and impassioned, reflecting his deep connection to the subject matter. He highlights the bureaucratic inefficiencies, political decisions, and societal changes that have, in his view, undermined the morale and effectiveness of the military. The book is rich with personal anecdotes, interviews with fellow service members, and a critical examination of policies affecting veterans' healthcare, military funding, and public perception. One of the book's strengths is its ability to convey the human cost of these issues, providing a voice to those who feel abandoned by the institutions meant to support them. Hegseth's arguments are compelling, although at times controversial, offering a perspective that prompts readers to critically assess the treatment and appreciation of military personnel in contemporary America. The War on Warriors is an urgent call to action, advocating for substantial reforms to honor and support those who risk their lives for the country. It is a must-read for policymakers, military families, and anyone interested in understanding the complexities and sacrifices of military life. Hegseth's passionate plea for change is both a tribute to his fellow warriors and a challenge to the nation to do better by them. Please like.
All right, so let's stop sharing that. All right, so that was an outside review of it. So let's go into my review of it, right? And this is another thing that just came to me, so just bear with me. So, a review of War on the Warrior Behind the Betrayal of Men Who Keep Us Safe by Pete Hegseth. That's being informative, conversational, and engaging. In our first segment, I'm your host, Howard Martell, here and welcome you to Books That Matter, the podcast where we explore powerful videos that shape our understanding of the world. I'm Howard Martell, and today we're diving into Pete Hegseth's eye-opening The War on Warriors Behind the Betrayal of Men Who Keep Us Safe. This book reveals a hard truth. Those who protect us often face neglect, betrayal, systematic failures when it comes to their own well-being. From veterans to active duty soldiers, Pete Hegseth exposes the challenges they endure, not just on the battlefield, but returning to the homeland. Let's break this down into manageable segment. What the book's about, the key issues raised, and what we can do to support the men and women who serve. Stay tuned. In segment 1, what is the book about? Pete Hegseth, a combat veteran and outspoken advocate for service members, explores how American warriors are being let down by the very institutions meant to support them. Here are the main topics he addresses. Systematic neglect. Soldiers and veterans often face inadequate health care, lack of mental health resources, and bureaucratic hurdles. So true. Cultural shifts. Hegseth discusses how society values have shifted, leading to less respect and support for our men and women in military service or our veterans. 3. Policy failures. The book highlights governmental inefficiencies, misplaces priorities that fail to address the real need of service members. In short, this book is a call to action to recognize the sacrifices of our warriors and demand better treatment for them. In segment 2, we're going to highlight the key issues. Now let's dive into the key issues Pete Hegseth raises in The War on Warriors. 1. Lack of mental health support. Many service members return from duty with PTSD and other mental health challenges. Hegseth argues that the system is overwhelmed and underfunded, leaving soldiers without the care they desperately need. 2. Over-bureaucratized systems. The Department of Veterans Affairs is often criticized for being slow and inefficient. Veterans report long wait times and lack of individualized care. 3, the erosion of a warrior culture. Hegseth discusses how cultural shifts have devalued the role of the military. He argues the political correctness and societal divisions have led to a lack of respect for those who serve. Example. One heartbreaking story shared in the book is about a veteran who waited months for treatment only to give up hope. The story is a stark reminder of the systematic failures and demand immediate attention. And the third segment, why this matters. So why does this matter? The well-being of our warriors isn't just about honoring their service and about maintaining a strong, resilient society. And here's why it's crucial. National security. If a soldier aren't cared for, recruitment and retention suffers, weakening our military. Moral responsibility. If a soldier aren't cared for, recruitment and retention suffers, weakening our military, of course. But the moral responsibility. As a nation, we have a duty to honor the sacrifices made by those who protect our freedoms and give us the freedoms to be able to have businesses, to be able to live in a peaceful society where law and order, where we follow the Constitution. Ripple effect. When veterans struggle, their families and communities are affected, creating a wider societal impact. Pete Hegseth message is clear. If we fail our warriors, we fail our nation. What can we do about it? Hegseth doesn't just highlight the problems, he also calls for solutions. Here's what he suggests and what we can do as individuals. Advocate for better policies. Support initiatives that improve VA services and provide more mental health resources for veterans. 2, support military families. Organizations like Wounded Warrior Project and Operation Homefront provide essential aid to service members and their families. And thank you if you're donating to these organizations outside of the normal VA benefits that some of these warriors can receive, the trauma that their families endure, caretaking, and so much. You see the you see the videos. You see the if you watch some of the news and stuff, you see it all over that, and it's awesome. As a veteran, I'm glad that I have all fingers, toes, and everything. But there's veterans who have lost everything because they gave everything they had to their country, and their country, as Pete says, has let them down. And we cannot do that to our warriors, to the ones who stepped up, to said, yes, I will give my life to defend each and every one of you. I don't care who you are. See, what society does is they divide us by right, left, middle, you're middle class, that's all titles. That's all just how the demons in these people are just evil, and they don't understand the trauma war has. That's why the American people made a mandate. When we reelected Donald J. Trump coming January 20th, people laugh at me. They say nothing's going to change. The biggers are going to get bigger. He's going to give all these tax breaks to people. See, they follow the mainstream media. They don't understand that you need to look outside the mainstream media. You need to learn how to do a subjective and look at different things. And everybody's going to believe the way they want to believe, and that's fine. But there's consequences for that. Consequences for the generational transfer of wealth that we saw during COVID and so much more. So understand, we veterans support one another. Once we leave uniform, we are on our own. And as a service-disabled veteran who fought for all his benefits, I can proudly say that I got all the benefits that medically was coming to me. I don't want any of these disabilities that I have, but guess what? I get compensated for them, and that helps me and my family to be able to bless other families through my ministry in the marketplace, through good virtuous TV, by just giving more to the church and the missions that we have at Refresh Community Church. So, see, the money returns back because it's not mine. I'm stewarded over it. And that's what I'm trying to teach people. And you need to arm yourself with right knowledge. Understand how money works, how bartering works, how to self-sustain. What I learned when we went to go see the movie Homestead yesterday, which is an Angel Studios apocalyptic with Neil McDonough as the executive producer. It is excellent. You need to go see it this Christmas. You don't need to go see Sonic the Hedgehog or The Lion King or whatever it is, Mufasa. Yes, they're classic. It's great. It's a tribute to James Earl Jones, a great person who was an incredible actor, an incredible advocate. But understand, what Pete's talking about is real. We have 7 out of 10 people in America that are severely obese, that can't even, let's just say they're on these pharmaceutical medicines. Just so you see how God is revealing things into 2025, how he's placing people who are in the know So I truly believe once God returns to the White House, to the government, he's putting in disruptors. He's putting in Jerul. Look up Jerul in the Bible. Like when I was listening to Jonathan Cahn, and he's a creator of the Harbingers, thanks to God's vision that he gave him. He talks about Trump being Jerul, a disruptor. Pete Hegseth, a disruptor. Vivek Goswami, a disruptor, an outsider, not bought off by the evilness of these so-called politicians, Democrats and Rhinocrats, I call them. They're the uniparty. See, you have to understand how the system works. It's an ecosystem. See, the left will eat the left. The right will eat the left. But understand, it's not about that. Pete saw the rot in the military. I started to see it in 2012 when I retired after 20 years, 10 days. I was starting to see the political side of it and all that. And it's sneaking into the culture. And now it's festering because they're teaching things like white rage. What the hell is that? That is Marxist leftist. When you serve in the military, you do not care about a person's color, creed, religion. You respect it. But you, brothers and sisters who have served, you understand what I'm talking about. We talk about brotherhood, camaraderie, making sure that you return back to your families. I don't care if you're trans or whatever, but guess what? If you can fight, you're going to fight. But I'd be darned if I'd have a person in today's military that will run away because they are cowards. You took an oath of office if you were an officer. So act like it. Don't act like a bureaucratic. And you know who you are. Trust me. You're called out on this. We've seen you on the news. And it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go and replace you with somebody who actually will get the job done. Forward deterrence. Okay? War is not pretty, people. And I pray that we don't have war because we're broke, America. We're broke. Pete talks about this. The Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in 8 years, people. Look it up. Look these things up. I don't BS people. I'm in the know of what's going on. But I also don't self-absorb into this stuff. But it painstakes me to report this. So, as I said, support the American families, the ones who've given, you see these videos, right? Raise awareness. Share books like The War on Warriors to spark conversation, inspire action. See, have a good debate. I was listening on my walk today, a debate that Vivek Goswami was having in New Hampshire. You know, this was prior to President Trump having his sweeping election. See, the American people spoke loud and clear. We want to make America affordable again. We want to make America healthy again. Okay? We want to make America safe again. We want to make America family friendly again. And we want America to understand we want to make religion, not man-made religion, but God is the forefront. Now, there's multiple gods, but there's only one God. His name is Jesus Christ, Yahweh, the good counselor. Look him up. Okay? So personal action. Take time to thank veterans, donate to reputable military charities, educate yourself about the issues they face. In the closing segment, to wrap it up, Pete Hegseth, The War on Warriors, a sombering, yes, empowering book that reminds us of the sacrifices made by those who serve and the responsibilities we have as a nation to support them. See, your tax-paying money needs to be going to make America infrastructure better again. Make our transportation better again. Innovation. Our school systems are failing, people. And it's because of the bureaucratic machine, because everybody's asking for money. Money we don't have. See, the money we don't have is the printing of the dollar. See, Howard's very educated about this and took a long time for this. See, the last 5 years, I've been investing in precious metals. I talk about this at the Good View TV network. You can download the app. We have over 700,000, almost 800,000 viewers across the globe. We're taking back society. We're taking back and showing people the talents here, not only in Hampton Roads, but beyond. See, I'm just a small disadvantaged business owner that does something part-time. that is working towards creating a generational transformation of wealth when it comes to understanding how entrepreneurship works, how money works, how precious metals work, right? And it's easy because silver is so cheap right now, right? You can buy silver instead of getting that gift that person. Why don't you give them a gift, something that can be worth 10 times what it's worth, because it is manipulated already, but you can only manipulate it so much, the bureaucracy can, because silver is in everything. So everything you touch will be like gold. So when my precious metal dealer at KEPM, Dr. Kurt Elliott, when I discovered him this year, I transferred all my precious metals from my other company, who was charging me arm and a leg. Look him up, KEPM.com. He's a man of God. He is smarter than Janet Yellen. Anybody's smarter than Janet Yellen. Because, see, they fall into the old system that they think that we as Americans need to support their institutions and their ideas, and we don't care about you. We don't care about the small person. Well, guess what? The middle class had the laugh. We've had enough. Pete talks about the military. We need to have a strong military that's able to fight only when called upon, not to take land grabs and all this other resources, because that's what we've been doing, unfortunately. And I've woken up to it too. The countries I've been to, you see the devastation we've left behind when we left. And that's what happened the last 4 years. And beyond that, in every administration, there's been issues, right? But one thing we didn't have endless wars prior to this last 4 years. We didn't. Look at them up. We didn't have endless wars where we had our brothers and sisters dying for what? For another, to spread democracy? See, you got to understand that democracy is flawed. It is. And I love this country, but we have people in power who want more power, that are Marxists, socialists, Satanists, pedophiles. Look it up. Why do you think Congress has their own secret slush fund to quell any kind of sexual improprieties and stuff like that? See, there's a whole list of it. And I bet the FBI, CIA, and all of them have a list, and it's held over their heads. See, these organizations need to be reformed, and it starts at the Pentagon. Then it goes to the CIA, the FBI. See, when you take a system and you corrupt it by putting in these bureaucrats that don't work for the American people, but also decide that they want to influence politics. No place for it. No place for it. So, as we have another continuing resolution, you need to reach out to your congressional people and say, you want a balanced budget. You want an America First budget. MAGA, Make America Great Again, has spoken. I'm a proud MAGA member. I'm a peaceful, God-loving member. But I'm also mindful that you have to be strategic in how you do this, okay? We're going to have a peaceful transfer of power. But understand, I'm very optimistic that it can only get better from here. But there's going to be a pain point, people. Inflation is going up. Understand how to protect your wealth. Don't put it all into a 401k, because the market can tank at any time. And it's because we keep on having the military-industrial complex. Keeps on getting bigger and bigger, their budgets. We have to fight on the homeland and understand that you and across the globe are part of a populist movement. It's not about Donald J. Trump. It's not about being Republican or Democrat. It's about being American and taking the steps forward to make sure that the next generation has something left to be able to have the history and legacy. Yes, our history is flawed, but when you try to erase history, Stalin did it, Lenin did it. Look all up these stuff. Look up the Communist Manifesto by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Look it up. Look it up. Look up the history. There's documentaries on Netflix, on all these other shows. Look it up, and then read books on this stuff. I love reading history because we have been repeating history. In 1973, the gold standard was taken off by Tricky Dick, Richard Nixon. That was where we, as America, died, and we started to become a print the money, more war, money. Then guess what? You had Jimmy Carter. Ronald Reagan came in. Cold War ended, right? Berlin Wall, all that. See, we are our own enemy from within because we keep on electing these fools because we think that they're going to work for us. Well, guess what? You have to hold your congressional leaders at the local level and especially at the local level. School boards, you need to understand that you do not want to put people in place that don't understand what your child needs or what you want your child to learn about. History, good, bad, and ugly. There's no oppressors. And see, that's what's being taught in some of these schools. So there's a huge homeschool movement that's been going on for a while, and it's going to get bigger. So that's less tax revenue for these public institutions that have great teachers, but then they're handicapped by the school board. Who gives the power to the school board? You do, parents. Who gives the power of the purse? You do, voters. So if you didn't vote this time, you have nothing to complain about because you didn't do your due diligence. We have a democratic system for a reason. When you have a candidate who's flawed, but guess what? God put him there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you don't like the man. Doesn't matter if you think he's a crook, he's a swindler. Dude, have you seen his kids? His kids are just incredible. They are articulate, well-spoken. They know business. They know people. And see, the stories that Donald Trump is not exposed to, you'll see it. There's all over the internet about the things he's done for people. And people have recognized that. And his dad did the same thing too. So see, he's a billionaire. Swami is a billionaire. Elon Musk is a billionaire, but their innovation, that's where they create jobs. So when you do value and deregulate the machine, and the machine has been exposed, you need to understand that Pete is just one of those tools that's just going to be there for a temporary fix. But when that fix comes, it is going to expose the rot that's been going on for decades. See, when they can take a bill like they did the resolutions and from 1,500 pages make and then take all the pork out using the power of what Elon Musk and Vivek have and stuff like that when it comes to innovation, using the power of the AI tool to go through this bill like that and reduce the pork and reduce the spending. And then Congress wants to give themselves a pay raise for doing what? Congress is one of the most hated institutions because they have not been working for you people. And you keep on electing these cronies. You need to put people in that you hold accountable, and there needs to be term limits. So there's going to be a lot of changes, people, and I'm very optimistic about it. And also, I'm optimistic that I know I'm going to graduate with honors from my college. I'm a college student, so I'm experiencing that online, but I get paid to go to school. So see how Howard has been able to make multiple streams of income and be blessed and to be shared with people. So as we go forth, understand this. We want to help you. We want to be there to help you in that journey. And when that comes, it's going to be a glorious day. With that being said, it's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy this. And thank you for tuning in to Books That Matter. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it, leave a review, and let's continue to honor and support our veterans and warriors. Until next time, stay informed, stay compassionate, and remember to always give back. Goodbye.